Hello and welcome, everybody. I'm Gabor. Here is my partner in crime, Zoltan. We are Strategic Impact, and this is our podcast about Web3. This is our third episode, and we are going forward with launching an NFT collection. And if you followed us for the previous episode, we had a lot of talk about what are the main topics you should consider while you are launching an NFT collection. We had a talk about many important things that you really need. We had a talk about the value creation. It was mostly about the roadmaps and about your team and your capabilities regarding execution. The second topic we mentioned here was trust. Many things can happen that can kill the trust around your NFT launch, and it will kill your project. We talked about doxing and rug pull and all of these bad things. We mentioned Squiggle's project, which had a pretty bad rough road, and most likely it will make unsuccessful this launch. The third topic we mentioned here was selling out, the go-to-market strategy. We had a talk about social strategy, influencers, alpha groups, ask me anything. We had a lot of talk about how to launch carefully a Discord server and how to build and engage your community. There was some words about interesting things regarding securing your Discord channel, bots and moderations. We mentioned FOMO and hype strategies. Lots of things are happening there. Whitelisting, giveaways, collaborations, all of these information reviews, all of these are really important topics. And as we mentioned last time, we have 4 more topics here. We will talk about the solid technical foundations regarding smart contract and their developments and all of these things. We will give you some really nice tips how don't get hacked and how you can secure your wallet and your assets. It will be an absolute must to protect all of these stuffs because Web3 and crypto and NFTs are a kind of wild west, and cowboys are everywhere. And it will kill you with your horse. Very bad thing. We will discuss what's happening after minting and all of the listings and all of these things. And what's happening after you reveal your project, how to communicate with your community, how to set your floor price, roadmap, and how not to get crucified here, because in the Wild West it sometimes happens, and you don't want to be in the middle of these bad things. So what if we are jumping in and let's talk about the technical foundations and smart contract developments. And when we are talking about this, I think we have a super interesting question here. Where will you store your assets? You have several different options here, and I think we really need to look it around and find out what's good for us and what's not. What do you think, Zoli?
Yeah, absolutely. As I've mentioned in my introduction in a previous episode, I've said that I've been developing basically applications since I was 12. And what I can tell you is that smart contract development is very different from anything that I've done in the past. And as you mentioned, whenever you roll out your NFTs, there's many questions you have to answer regarding security, how you build up your smart contract according to your strategy. And one of the core questions is with NFTs is, okay, where are you going to store your data? Where are you going to store the image assets? Where are you going to store your traits? Many projects have, for example, artwork that is like 4K or 8K. That is not something that you can put on the blockchain. It just doesn't fit in the block. So that data has to live pretty much off-chain. And that immediately raises a very exciting question. How can you put your data off-chain, point to it from your smart contract, but somehow keep the trustless behavior and the trustless characteristics of um, of NFTs, smart contracts, and digital ownership. And when you choose a piece of technology here, you have several options, and you can see several projects choosing one version of those. I think the most popular one is using IPFS. IPFS is the Interplanetary File System, which is a very interesting distributed set of machines, nodes that can create that can hold your assets, whether it be the actual image or the metadata that defines your traits. But you actually have to understand how IPFS works and what it means for your
Yeah,
NFT.
yeah. Many projects uses it, and
Yeah.
there are some gotchas here.
Yeah, definitely. So, as you know, IPFS is for storing files, right? It's using content addressing. But did you know that actually IPFS is not a permanent storage? Like, you upload stuff there, it hosts it, and as people are using it, quite frequently, it's there. But what if they don't look at it like every day? Then what IPFS does, whenever it needs more space, it will just do some garbage collection. Garbage collection meaning it will free up space from stuff that you're not using anymore. So your images and your metadata just can go like this overnight, because IPFS might decide that I need space. This data is not that much used, so goodbye. Let's remove it.
Yeah, so in this case, you will have a URL, not an
Exactly.
image.
That points to nothing. And losing the artwork is one thing, but if you lose the metadata that contains your traits for your NFT, that's defines the rarity and what your NFT is about, then you have a huge issue because you have lost the value of that NFT. As long as we are talking like artistic projects. But many teams do. They are using so how to get around this issue, right? Basically, you have to run your own IPFS node and keep it. But most people are not well equipped to actually run their own IPFS node, and not to mention that you as a collection issuer, I have to trust you to run that IPFS node for the end of times to pin your data, so it wouldn't be garbage collected. So what people are actually doing is they're not using IPFS directly, but they're using a pinning service, let's say Piñata. Piñata will host these IPFS nodes and pin your data for you for a monthly fee. Okay, so what happens if you're not paying the monthly fee? Or what happens if Piñata goes down, Piñata goes away? I don't. You never know if it's 5 years from now, it's still gonna be there. Then your data is gone. Okay, so IPFS is not amazing. What else is out there? You could use a solution called ARViv. ARViv is trying to address the issue and be a permanent storage. But you pay a one-time fee and it will store forever. But can you be sure that 5 years from now, ARViv is going to be there? It hasn't really proved that it's going to be there 10, 15, 300 years from now, right? And if you have your NFTs, you should own it, right? So data can be broken at any point that your NFT points to. So what do most projects do? What they do is they don't release the contract. They keep ownership of the contract. Why? Because if the data goes from IPFS or let's say ARViv, which not many projects use actually, they can change that base URL to point to a new location where they re-upload those assets. But then my question is, okay, so if I have to trust the collection issuer, is that really trustless? Right?
Not at all.
It is a
Not
very
at all.
interesting topic. Some projects go a little bit in a different way. They say that they create more simple art that can fit as an SVG in a single transaction, but that really limits your artistic capability, what you can do there. So actually, it's not really a solved problem at this moment.
Yeah, and sometimes SVGs are not that small.
Oh yeah, if
If you create something.
Yeah, I've just built a site recently where I've been using some really heavy SVGs, like to add effects to it, maybe add some animations to it. Those can be really big, really quickly. They won't fit into a transaction.
Yeah, I remember last Friday when we played with some 30 megabyte SVGs.
Yeah, exactly.
That does not fit into a transaction.
That does
Not
not
at
fit into
all.
a transaction.
But there are some more interesting topics here we should really talk about. Which is your site? because it's not that trivial as it looks like. Because when the hype and the FOMO is at its top, and people are starting minting your NFT. I've seen many projects that their site is crashing actually during the pre-sale, which is bad.
Yeah, you need very strong engineering capabilities here. If you build a site, I mean, build a project that really gets off the ground and people are going for it, the moment of minting, when that comes, there will be thousands of people hitting your website at the very same second because everybody's going to be there. Okay, the mint button goes live at 3 p.m. exactly. They will be there waiting to press the button, not to mention all the bots that are working in the background. There's going to be a very heavy load on the website, and it's not just scalability really. You really have to know how your entire stack works and what you're doing. A very good example recently, the Lives of Asuna project had a very interesting launch. They have been testing their website as they should be. They have been testing their minting as they should be on a test network. But once they went live, something went sideways with the CDN, and accidentally they were pointing the mint operation to the test contract address.
Yeah.
As a result, they were actually sending transactions money to an account that was not really minting anything for them. The money just went out. Luckily, the team had access to that account because it was there, so the private keys were in their possession. What did they have to do? They had to transfer every single transferred Ethereum to all those hundreds of users who have accidentally minted from the wrong location. That was very expensive.
Yeah.
They handled
crazy
it
gas fees.
Yeah, they handled beautifully. My hat's off to them, really. But that must have hurt financially.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure how many NFTs they had, how many people paid for it, tens of thousands.
I think Asuna had like 7,000 something in the collection. I don't recall exactly. They recognized the problem quite soon, so I think we are talking about like 800 people max. I'm not exactly sure about the number, but it was several hundreds that they had to take care of. It took several hours. They stopped the entire minting, and they had to recover from that first.
Yeah, and as far as I remember, the gas fee was pretty high back then, so
Yeah,
it
I
can
guess they were
be
always
this
high.
this mistake can cost them tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, it is expensive
That's
to make
serious.
a mistake like that. Yeah.
That's serious. Okay. So, and I think in this case we should talk about the gas war,
Yeah.
because this is the way people lose thousands of dollars and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and yeah,
Yeah.
and this is a tricky thing because if you bid below the average, you will lose and you will be deprioritized in the row.
Yeah. So I've seen some really interesting things. First of all, to people who don't know what a gas war is, basically the moment that a more hyped collection is ready for minting, then everybody tries to mint at the same time, right? A lot of transactions get queued up in the system. So what happens is that the price of the transactions on the blockchain network, it starts to increase. The more transactions you have in flight, the more it becomes. So it's not rare to see sometimes like half an Ethereum or even more, or sometimes one Ethereum worth of gas fees. And the worst thing about it is that if you choose your gas fee incorrectly and you start the minting, let's say you choose 0.3 Ethereum for minting, but it's not enough. It's below the average. Then your transaction will never be queued. I mean, it will be queued, but it never be successful. And your transaction will fail, but you will still pay the gas fee. Yep, and that is not something that you want to do.
Not
And
at
of course,
all.
you are competing with bots, programmatic, approaches to mint the contract at an optimal price. So avoiding gas wars, protecting your users from that gas wars with various strategies, with optimized contracts, is extremely critical.
Indeed, it is. And in this case, we should talk about these bots because they are creating the gas war, and I think we should really care about all of these things. They are pushing up the prices, of course.
Yes.
And yes, it's usually coming from if it's a result of an uneven distribution of the collection items. You should be really, really thoughtful with all of these things, and you can this can help you a lot to really find out how to make it better.
Yeah.
We should talk about some famous mistakes, and you mentioned Asuna. And yeah, they did some really bad things, but they are not the only ones. And we've seen an even bigger player who made some mistakes here. I mean, Adidas, you remember that?
Yes. I mean, you can argue whether if it's a mistake or not, but having an Ethereum gas price during minting close to 1 Ethereum is, I would say, that's less than optimal.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is that that collection creators need to understand how to avoid gas wars. Having a whitelist based presale that allows for a longer period to actually mint can help a lot. Creating contracts that if you mint 5, you don't have to pay the gas fees for 5. There are options out there. For example, Azuki did a really great job also creating a standard here. Helps a lot. So just understanding how you can filter out bots, how you can optimize your contract, how you can come up with a strategy to minimize gas wars, maybe through raffles, I think helps a lot for the community. And at the time of the Adidas release, they were not ready for that. They were not ready for that, and the gas wars were insane. And we are talking about a collection of like 30K, right? So they could have definitely done better there.
Of course, but they weren't that experienced with this whole space back then.
Yeah.
Most probably the next time when they are pushing it, they can build on the top of these experiences and they can optimize a lot. Yeah. And when we are talking about contracts, there is one more important topic here we should mention. How you can secure your contracts, what standards you can use in this case.
Yeah, I think, and now I'm going to be mainly focusing on solidity-based contracts, so basically on Ethereum, right? This does not apply in the same sense to, let's say, Solana. There are some really good base contracts that you should be looking at. Don't try to roll your own. It is very hard. As I said, smart contract development is very, very different from normal programming. A simple mistake can, result in profound problems like losing all of your Ethereums and stuff. One thing to reach for is the Open Zeppelin libraries. Open Zeppelin basically has quite an extensive set of contracts for various use cases, including NFTs and various NFT types that have been heavily audited. They have been proven over time that they are secure, they are well implemented. So just don't try to roll your own. Obviously you will have to add some, custom functionality to match your rollout strategy. But I would say always start from a heavily well audited contract that has proven through times.
Yeah. This is super important. And there is another super important topic here we really need to talk about, and this is our 5th topic regarding launching your NFT. And this is securing your wallet and assets. Because, as I said, cowboys, or the more modern cowboys, the hackers, are all around, and they are looking for you.
Yeah, I've seen in the past that some teams were like accused that they transferred out the money from a smart contract or something. That doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. Like, it just means that they know what they're doing. Just keeping all of the Ethereum that you have just made through your Ethereum through your NFT collection and keeping it in a software wallet, that's basically suicide. Like, if I'm a hacker and I know that you just had a successful NFT launch and you made a couple of hundred or maybe 1,000 ethers, then trust me, I'm going to target you. I will try everything in my power to steal your money. And if everything is on your computer, I can do that. I will find a way to, unless you are like a super careful person, you know exactly what's happening, and you can be sure that your computer won't be taken over. Honestly, I can't make sure of that. I've been an engineer for 17 years. I can't guarantee that my computer won't be hacked. There are some really sophisticated and smart people out there. So you have to find a way to keep your money safe. And one of the best ways is to use a hardware wallet.
Yeah. And another thing that's really, really important, and we've seen many hacks and still happens, looks trivial, but keep your private keys private.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
It's still, when you are hearing about hackings, this is still the top problem here. Like using a weak password for your emails.
Yeah.
What can go wrong with that?
Yeah, it's like you have to be really, really careful. The attackers are very smart these days. Don't keep the money in your NFT contract. They can just drop something in that address, and you are not gonna be careful. They are, just there is an NFT. I don't know what NFT this is. Let's just get rid of it. Let's just burn it or transfer it out. And you don't pay attention, and whoops, all your money gone. You don't want that.
Yeah. And there is no authority. No one can get it back for you.
Yeah, that's the whole point, isn't it? Once the money is gone, there is no central authority to override this. It's just gone.
Yeah. Let's just talk about happier things. And this is our sixth topic here. And it's about post-minting. Let's just assume we were successful. And our NFT collection was a great success. People love it. And they are building some secondary market here for our NFT. And we can still make a lot of fortune there.
Yeah, you can't underestimate
This
that.
is no. And there are many platforms that should be used for this, like OpenSea, LuxRare, Rarity. This can help you a lot.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, go ahead.
Go.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, looking at OpenSea and LuxRare is very important. I think it's ideal to be listed on both. It's interesting that we have started the conversation with Squiggles, and what happened to them is that once it turned out that, the suspicion arose that this might be a rug pull. What happened is that they got delisted from OpenSea. You have to understand that OpenSea is actually not a decentralized service. They're centralized, so they can do whatever they want. Of course, if something is living, on the blockchain, it's living on the blockchain, you can do stuff, but through the main service, they can basically delist your collection. That's what happened to Squiggles. And the moment they got delisted, it was goodbye. The only chance that they had is to go to LuxRare and list there. So it's important for your own protection. It's important for your own distribution strategy. Also, LuxRare is slightly more decentralized than OpenSea. So let's support them. Go to multiple locations, make your collections available at multiple marketplaces. That's how you protect your income. And absolutely don't underestimate the transaction fees. Like if you look at successful projects, they can make more money on the transaction fees through royalties than they actually make with the NFT sale.
Yeah, and this is a really important part here. The story doesn't over there when you are selling the NFT. No, it's just starting a new story here because, and this is the most powerful thing in the whole blockchain concept and smart contract concept. You can program there anything you like. And this is what we mentioned in our first episode. For example, for the ticket industry, it doesn't stop there when you are selling a ticket NFT. It can be a start of a membership program. Really, really interesting and powerful concept that will be used by many. in the near future. I'm pretty sure about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Regarding listing, it's also an important thing to look at the rarity, as you mentioned. It's very interesting. I've talked to some designers, and they didn't really know the concept of rarity. And that is all about your NFT collection, right? You're generating a collection of 10,000 items. Every single one is different. How will the user know, the collectors, how will they know that which one is the valuable one and which one is the most common ones, which one they should invest in and which one is not that important. And it's very important to actually get in connection with multiple rarity sites, collaborate with them, figure out how your rarity works, because there is no one size fits all approach. So just figure out how your rarity algorithm and your rarity should be calculated. And you need to have that collaboration with them, which can take several days, by the way. It's not like an instantaneous thing. It's not just your list and done. It's something that you need to work on with them together to properly establish these rules and algorithms and provide real value, real rarity, real value to your customers.
Yeah. And we just arrived to our last topic here, which is post-reveal. What's happening there, how you can care about your community and your floor price, how you can communicate all of these things. We've seen projects who did this very well, and we also seen projects who doesn't.
Yes. I think one of the biggest mistakes I see projects doing is they have the reveal, they are sold out, and then they forget to communicate with their audience.
Yeah.
And the floor price.
They just go on.
Yeah, it just we are just sitting talking about collaborations. We are sitting in a room with lawyers and stuff. I mean, that doesn't cut it, right? You still need to engage your audience. We just mentioned that the second-hand market royalties are maybe the most important revenue stream for your project. So, just stop. Any kind of communication is not the way to go. You have to keep engaging your communicant, your audience. You need to continue communicating. Don't let that floor price drop to the 10th of the value. Of course, you can't keep up the hype. Of course, that level of hype is not gonna stay there. Your collection will most likely lose some value, and if you have created something good, it will regain again. But just don't let it crash immediately, because people will lose trust in your projects. They will flip and they will be gone, and then good luck getting them back again.
Yeah, you won't get them back. And they will mention you as someone who's doing a rug pull. We mentioned this in the previous episode, and this is a problem. And this is a really important concept when you are building a bigger project here, when the NFT is just about finding the investment for a bigger project. You really be really thoughtful about what's happening after post-reveal and post-minting. You really need to communicate well the next steps, and you really need to show results. And you need to do it fast. You won't have so much time here.
So this is very interesting. Many of the projects were actually saying, when the community was bashing them in Discord, that you stop communicating, you're not talking with us, that we can't reveal stuff every single day. I mean, sure, you can't reveal stuff, but it doesn't mean that you can't communicate anymore, right? My advice at this stage is always like go full Gary Vee, right? If Gary Vee goes to the loo, he makes a video about it, a short video. Just keep telling your story. Keep telling what you're doing. If you're building something, build it open source. Everybody can see that the project is moving forward, that people are contributing, you are moving forward. Make TikTok videos, make small Twitter spaces, continue doing emails. There's a very small project called Laid Back Llamas. They're not very high on the list. But one thing that they're doing amazingly well is that every single day they're communicating with their community and they are executing their roadmap. And there's every day something to be said, that what they have done, how they are progressing. They do EMEAs, they are active on Twitter, they are active still on Discord, even weeks after they reveals. So you can do it. You just need to want to do it.
Yeah, and one common mistake is people don't want to repeat themselves, but you have to repeat yourself.
Oh yeah,
You
sure.
have to repeat your vision, your mission. You have to repeat your roadmap. You have to repeat why you are doing all of these things and whose are the people behind that.
Yeah.
You have to build up this story, and it's a common sense here. You have to repeat it because not everybody has all of this in his head.
Exactly. Your community is not static. They
Yeah.
change, they shift, they grow, and you need to make it grow. So you need to tell your story over and over again, to engage that community, to make sure that they know that you are there and you are still doing things.
Yeah. So this was our second part about the NFT Pass Lunch. Put together these two episodes, and we hope you will really find it useful for your own project. What we can promise here in the next 2 weeks, we will create several episodes when we are going really deep into all of these 7 big topics. And yeah, hope you can learn a lot from it. We did in the past months, and we are happy to share this knowledge here. So cheers, guys. See you soon.
Bye bye. See you soon.